In this video, I'm going to teach you 11 ways on how to improve your aim and win more gunfights in the exact same way as a pro player does in Call of Duty Warzone. There are so many techniques and things you can take advantage of, from in-game settings such as sensitivity and in-game mechanics like the Peeker's Advantage, which will allow you to become a far better Warzone player with the tips that you'll gain in this video. Okay. First things first, let's talk sensitivity. As it's a question I constantly get, what sensitivity should I have? If you're a controller player, this is one of the hardest choices that you have to make because there are pros and cons with each. There is an argument that you can choose any sensitivity and be successful and have great aim. However, as a rule of thumb, lower sensitivities are going to be much easier to control and give you a much smaller margin for error. So you can make those micro adjustments which are key to coming out on top in those medium to long range gunfights. Having a high sensitivity will allow you to react faster and be able to snap onto opponents a little bit quicker. So for you, I would recommend starting with a lower sensitivity like a 5.5, which I feel is the perfect starting point and is what I actually use, and I get called a cheater on a regular basis. Now, what you'll also want to do from that is then adjust your ADS modifier down to 0.9. I used to use a 0.8, but the new Warzone update makes the gameplay that little bit faster. This means that you can get even greater control when aiming down sights, as it'll bring your sensitivity down to around a 4.5, which then allows you to flick up whilst controlling the recoil to land those all-important headshots. The next thing to take into account is the actual controller you use. Different controllers have different thumbstick tensions, which actually has a big impact on your recoil control. If you have low thumbstick tension, that thumbstick is going to move a lot easier, making it harder to make those small changes as there's no resistance. It may also mean you might need to increase your dead zone, as the thumbstick is going to be more likely to drift, whilst the high thumbstick tension is going to give you the most resistance but allows you to make more controlled movements. Now, it's also important you try a whole bunch of different controllers. The last couple of years, I've been using the Xbox Elite Series 2, but I've just received the brand new Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra controller, which I'm going to be trying out next. It also has Hall effect thumbsticks, which means there's absolutely no stick drift whatsoever, which is pretty insane, and helps give you better overall control, along with short travel micro switches so I can hit every one of those buttons just that little bit faster. A unique thing with this controller is it has a built-in display where you can customize your controller on the fly with up to 10 profiles, so you can customize your 4 paddles and thumbstick tuning however you like. I'll let you know more about it in the future, but go check it out. Okay, now you've got your controller set up, let's move on to things you need to do in-game to get better aim in Warzone. First of all is recoil management. One of the most difficult things with Warzone is that some weapons have more recoil and some weapons have less. Some will kick up vertically and to the right, others to the left, and so on. So whenever you make a class setup, make sure you understand the gun's recoil pattern so you know what you need to do in order to counter the recoil, and make sure that your gun moves as little as possible, as this is what is going to allow you to hit the majority of your shots. It's one of the reasons weapons like the BAS-B are already so popular, because the recoil is pretty easy to manage with its damage output and time to kill potential, whilst you'll never see people go for a gun like the Sidewinder because the recoil sucks along with the fire rate. So just spend time making sure that you have the best class setups and learn that recoil pattern. Learning your weapon's recoil is only the first thing you need to take into account to get better aim in Warzone. The next thing is the bullet velocity of your class setup. Weapons with a higher bullet velocity act more like hit scan, so you don't need to lead your shots as much at a distance. But if you're using a low bullet velocity weapon, you'll need to aim further in front of a moving target in order to be able to hit them. Now, I'm telling you all of this because it's important to understand to get the same aim as a pro player, because every single one of these things we take into account when playing Warzone. Now, something you can do to help you land shots at a distance is aim in front of your target whilst tracking their movement at the same speed, but slow down as you start firing until you get a hit marker. Then as soon as you get that hit marker, maintain that speed, and you'll be able to consistently hit your opponent. It's a good thing to do when you're not 100% sure of where you need to fire to hit your shots and take them down. But you'll be able to quickly figure that out with that technique, especially with aim assist helping you out at the same time. It brings me on to my next tip to help you improve your aim in Call of Duty Warzone, and it's how you can take full advantage of the game's inbuilt aim assist. First of all, I make sure that my aim response curve is dynamic, which is always a good setting to have, and then aim assist is set to Black Ops, which feels like the stronger option with Modern Warfare 3. Now, aim assist doesn't just make it easier for you to land your shots whilst using a controller, it's a mechanic you can abuse and allow yourself to snap onto an opponent much easier than without it, as you'll get something I like to call sticky aim. Whenever you're playing Warzone, try and aim at an opponent with your hipfire crosshairs first, then ADS. This will give you an almost sticking effect where you'll be able to snap onto an opponent's center mass a lot easier. You'll also want to take advantage of rotational aim assist, which is something you gain whilst using your left thumbstick to strafe, as it'll keep you locked onto your opponent. So always try and move left or right whilst in a gunfight, as you'll get stronger aim assist, making it a lot easier to hit your shots. Then all you need to do is flick upwards with your thumbstick to snap up towards the head, which will also happen naturally with your gun's recoil, because every gun in Warzone will naturally kick vertically. You just have to control that horizontal recoil to make sure you land those headshots. So make sure you learn to take advantage of aim assist and snap onto your opponents quickly, and you'll do so much better. You also want to make sure that you have the scale aim assist with FOV enabled in the settings to make sure that sweet spot is as large as possible. Also eliminates visual recoil. Which brings me onto my next tip, which is all about burst firing. Until I know I've snapped into that overpowered aim assist sweet spot, a lot of the time at medium to long range when I'm using an automatic weapon, I'll burst fire. This allows me to have a consistent recoil pattern where I know I'm going to land all my shots. This is also useful when an opponent is behind some sort of cover, because staying on full auto, the horizontal recoil is just going to make it almost impossible for you to hit your shots consistently. So when you can, just fire 5 to 6 shot bursts, which is for most weapons when the horizontal recoil begins to kick in, and you're going to be a lot more accurate. My next tip to help you get better aim in Warzone is all about your crosshairs. Whenever you watch any pro player in Warzone, the way you move around the map is key to having good aim for a couple of reasons. Firstly, if you're centering your crosshairs at high-risk locations such as windows, corners of buildings, doorways, etc., you're going to be ready to start firing in the quickest time possible. You're effectively always aiming at something, even when no one is there. It's a hard mindset to get into, but it'll help you get a much smoother aim curve and make you a much more situationally aware player, as you're always trying to identify where players could come from and aiming at them so you're ready if an enemy squad does appear. Now, something else that will help you not only have better aim, but also win more gunfights is using the peeker's advantage. Now, something a lot of people don't realize, but for a couple of reasons, including ping, latency, etc., being the first to peek around a corner gives you a small advantage, especially when going from the right-hand side. If you're stuck behind a tree and have the choice to jump out from the left or the right, always go right, because that's the side of the screen that your gun is, and get you that peeker's advantage, as you'll be able to start getting your shots off first instead of having to have the gun go all the way across the tree with your body on view. Another small thing to change in your settings to improve your aim in Warzone is please make sure you turn your controller vibration off. There is no competitive benefit for vibration, and it's only going to throw off your aim, especially in those tense final moments of a match. So do yourself a favor and turn it off. Another huge tip to help you get better aim in Warzone is you need to get into the habit of making smooth movements. There should be no rash, quick movements made by you at all. Everything on your controller should be slowly controlled. Anything too rash and jerky will completely throw your aim off, and even aim assist won't help you. It's one of the reasons I've always preferred using a low sensitivity, because it becomes a lot harder to do those jerky movements. My next tip to help you improve your aim in Call of Duty is this aiming drill that I do all the time before I start streaming or playing, and that's to go into a multiplayer private match and set it up just like this. First of all, you're going to want to be playing free-for-all. You're going to choose a map. Meat is actually a really good map to do it on, because there's loads of different lines of sight from long range to mid range to close, so you can kind of practice at all distances. You then go into custom rule set. Now, I personally just do this for 10 minutes, set score limit to 1,000, and then what you're going to want to do is head to player. Now, the max health is 150. This is the exact same that there is in Warzone. You're then going to enable armor and have spawn armor at 3 plates and spawn armor plates at 5 plates. This means that everyone has the exact same health and kind of mechanics that are available in Call of Duty Warzone to make it as close as possible. You're then going to go to team and make radar always on to constant. This is so you're not having to chase and look for enemies. It just makes it nice and easy because you're working on improving your aim. Then gameplay, I just have this and I go spawn ammo mags and just put it to max so you don't run out of bullets, which is very important. We then go to here and then head straight over to the right hand side and click plus. And we're going to add a load of bots. Like, I personally go for like 9 bots, have them as recruit. You can obviously increase the difficulty if you'd like, but just to improve and start working on your aim, have them at recruit, because right now we just want to focus on making sure that you're hitting your shots. Click confirm and start up the game. Then once you're in the game, all you're going to want to do, move around the map and take out your opponents. Just trying to make sure that you're doing all the tips that we've learned throughout this video so you're hitting those shots, kind of learning how to like strafe, slide, cancel in. It's going to help improve everything from you being able to check your minimap quickly to being able to re-challenge fights, set yourself up, good centering. Honestly, it's one of the best drills that you can do, and I'll do this before every single stream, every single tournament, so I'm feeling fresh and like your shot is on point. Give it a go, let me know what you think, and I hope these tips help you improve your aim, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!